Good afternoon, Camp Davy Crockett.
I'm Hayden.
And I'm Zeph.
And I'm Anthony.
And welcome to the Camp Davy Chronicles.
Halloween special with Anthony.
That's true. It is very scary. We had posted the picture of Anthony for like the release thing, and he sent us a message and asked if we wanted him to dress up. So I can confirm he is wearing a banana suit right now.
I was going to be a pumpkin, but
that would have been funny. Too bad.
Okay,
but no. See, that's the power of audio. You can make them
believe that Anthony dressed up. Because I was going to start right off by asking Anthony, why didn't you dress up like you said you would? But
yeah, why didn't you?
Yeah.
The pumpkin no longer fits.
Okay. See, the banana suit is just his normal outfit, so he's not dressed up for anything.
Oh. Yeah. Can you imagine like walking into like a business meeting? Because I assume that you did stuff before this. You wouldn't just want to wear a banana all day. And so that would have been an interesting conversation starter. Maybe you should do that.
I'll see about it.
Yeah. I think it could be a good investment. I think it would be a good icebreaker for future endeavors.
I think Greg may disagree.
So I think starting out with this episode, we need to talk about what's happened in the past.
Like how far in the past are we talking?
Specifically this last weekend. Today is Wednesday, October.
Today is October 31st in podcast time because that's when this comes out.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I was getting myself ready what I was going to talk about earlier, and I was like, oh, we'll promote Halloween or the Haunted Weekend too. And I was like, well, by the time this is out,
it's already happened. So we had 2 haunted weekends for Cub Scouts at Camp Davy Crockett with costumes and pumpkins and I don't know what else.
Trunk or treating and activities.
Candy, lots of candy. I got some candy, not that much.
I got some candy. It was great. But the first
Anthony brought us candy. This is the candy wrapper.
Yeah, he bribed us to coming in here.
I'm not sure what he bribed us for. We haven't found out yet.
But the first weekend was great. Of course, I sat down and did archery with Clayton the entire time, and it was great. I think everybody had fun. And then there was the games behind us, and that was all I saw.
And I did wrist rockets because they had no one for that, and so they just recruited me for. I'm now officially shooting sports range master wrist rocket certified. I have the card from JD.
That's true. You never. You said you would never be on shooting sports, but look at you now.
Ah, man.
Eco to shooting.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah. I'm trying to think about what else happened this week. You had a costume contest.
Yeah, there was a Davy Crockett.
Oh, yeah. If you're friends with Dale, if you're not, you should just go look at his Facebook page for the picture of Davy Crockett. It was really cool.
Yeah. I think that he won his section of the costume contest. I don't know.
I hope so.
But
because it was definitely original. As you can get.
What was your favorite costume, Anthony? Oh wait, you weren't there.
Oh, that's a shame.
I'll catch the second weekend.
Okay.
It's true. I've confirmed with Mike that Anthony will be there the second weekend.
Okay. He claims he will. Well, you'll have to tell us what your favorite costume is that you see.
It'll clearly be whatever I dress up as.
Oh, hopefully not a pumpkin. we know that one. So
break out the scout uniform. Go all original.
Oh, go as a scout. That is true. I did see anyone as a Cub Scout or a scout.
Interesting. That would be an interesting costume.
Yeah.
They could also go as a Hammer Man.
Oh, that's true. I don't know if you've ever heard of Hammer Man.
The legendary spooky story of Camp Davy Crockett.
Yeah. I'll let you tell it since you know it better.
Okay. Well, I mean, we were both there. But
at Camp
Davy Crockett. Yeah. So it's the end of an OA induction weekend.
I think so, yeah.
And everyone's left basically except for us. But the gates are still open. And someone, we don't know who, just pulls in, parks in the parking lot, walks out of his truck carrying a hammer, and walks down the trail toward shooting sports in Cope. Now,
Yeah, it turned out he was supposed to be there and like he knew what he was doing. it was just strange.
What? No. Hey, this is the
Oh, sorry.
This is a Halloween special. You gotta leave it spooky.
Yeah, he had we didn't know who he was.
He was never seen again.
He disappeared.
By anyone.
Random van still sitting in the parking lot.
Rumor has it that you can see him walking around.
And so if you're late at night in the woods of Camp David Crockett and you hear hammer sounds,
you know. it's Hammerman. But yeah, no, that was because at the time it was definitely a little spooky because like we had no clue who he was, and just seeing him randomly get out with it because I mean he didn't take anything else. He just got out with a hammer and started walking away. So we were like, okay,
bye. We left.
Yeah, we left. we were getting out of there as fast as we could. So, but yeah, that was interesting for sure.
So Anthony, who are you?
Who am I?
Like, does it? I mean, you know, I was gonna say I don't know if anyone listening necessarily knows who you are, but I'm not even sure I know who you are. So this is probably a good idea to explain that.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'll try. So, Anthony, I work for the Scout office. I'm the director of safe scouting programs, so oversee the operations at summer camp and all the other fun programmatic things that we do, like Cub Adventure, winter camp, day camps, those kinds of fun things. And I guess you want more than that, don't you?
I want an in-depth detail. Would you say that this is the best podcast that Sequoia Council has?
I would definitely rank this in the top 5 best Sequoia Council productions.
I knew that it would be up there, but I just wanted the I don't know where I was going.
What is your favorite episode of the podcast? This was a little further down the list of questions, but since we're on the topic of it being the best podcast.
My favorite episode of the podcast was probably the impromptu JD fill-in as co-host there at the beginning.
Which one?
With Mike?
Yeah.
With Mike. Yeah, the one with Mike.
Okay. Yeah, that was interesting. So JD has his own podcast, and I love it. I listen to it as well, but there are times that he can be a little bland, and so I was scared going into that. But JD's great. He's hilarious, and so it was good to have a fill-in. And, of course, Mike is a one-of-a-kind human being.
Absolutely.
So it was a good fill-in. I do have to say on record that I think I've said this before, that Zeph was sick at the time, and that when I was sick during summer camp, they just threw me under the bus, and so now's my time to do the same.
What?
That episode that you weren't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We discussed it before we started, and I feel that it needed to be said.
Okay, so basically what I'm hearing, Anthony, is your favorite episode is the only one I wasn't on.
I'm sorry.
That's true. But you have been on more episodes than I have.
That's true. That's right. I have now.
At least one more.
Yeah.
One more, currently.
We'll have to change that.
Also, Hayden is fully convinced that JD's podcast improved in quality after he was on our podcast. So
yeah, I think so. And I don't know that was necessarily because
but Hayden wants to claim credit for his perceived improvement in quality of JD's podcast, whether or not it has any basis in truth.
Yeah, maybe. That's mine.
I get to ask Anthony another question.
Okay, any of them?
Move down the list from top to bottom.
Just ask who you are again. Okay, so we're going to ask some of the same questions that we asked from summer camp. Not all the same, but some of the ones that we had asked. So, you've been at camp for how long? Like, how long have you been?
How long was I a summer camp staffer, or how long have I been around?
Around camp.
God. Probably... What is this year, 2022?
Yes, that is the year.
So, 16 years, probably.
Oh, I thought that was going with a 60.
16, 17 years, something like that? No, not 16.
17, 17. Okay. Anyways, so 16, 17 years?
Yeah.
Okay. So would you say that it's a fair assessment to know that you would know what your favorite campsite is?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So that seems easy. What is your favorite campsite?
Hands down, my favorite campsite is Wolf.
Why?
So beautiful views, great breeze off the lake. That's where my unit always stayed. Very nostalgic, much like everyone else on this podcast.
Yeah, I feel
nostalgic.
That's the reasoning behind their campsite.
Right.
Oh,
That's where their unit stayed. They've got a lot of affinity for it.
Well, I thought you were saying much like everyone else on this podcast, they said wolf because that's far and away the most popular answer we've had.
Yeah, which is weird because it's not it is still a campsite, but it's a retired campsite.
Right. Which, maybe
we need to bring.
You should have narrowed it down and been like, the current campsite.
But we've got so many favorite wolves that we've got pressure to bring it back,
That's true.
Yeah.
So if we had to
As
take
a council employee, I don't think I can justify that.
So then let's narrow it down. What's your favorite campsite that's active?
Probably Grizzly Bear.
Okay. I think that's a fair assessment, especially now that the dining hall's right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's kind of centralized if you can't stay in Black Bear.
And the furthest back cabin actually picks up Wi-Fi from the dining hall.
Oh, does it?
What?
These are the insider information.
Anthony is responsible for setting up the infrastructure of the internet at camp, right?
That's true. So if you have any grievances,
That's right.
talk to him.
That's right. Just put them in my box outside my door.
He's also in charge of our salaries.
Oh, that's true. Which has a big part of the Wi-Fi.
So, Anthony, what troop were you in Scouts?
Okay. So I was in both Pack and Troop 29 in Elizabethton. Unfortunately, neither of those are around anymore. The troop was around 3 or 4 years after me, a couple more Eagles, and then kind of folded and went away.
So it wasn't because you were there.
It was not because of me.
Okay.
At least not directly. I like to think that I actually kept it going.
Oh, okay. So you were only in one troop. That's a weird thing because a lot of people have been moved around or have been in different troops. So
Growing up, there was only the one unit, both Pack and Troop, in my town. So for Mom and Dad to get from Johnson City home to pick me up and then back to a unit meeting, there wasn't a lot of traveling. This was your choice.
Yeah. What got you involved in scouting?
A district executive showed up to a recruiting event and said, "Who wants to go swim and shoot BB guns?" And I was like, "I'm in."
Yeah,
I feel like that's how it happens.
They didn't give you the little paper that they said to put inside the fridge. So
over top of the milk. Yeah, I got one of those. Little tent.
Yeah, that was the coolest part of my recruiting night. Is I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be awesome!" And then, yeah.
If somehow you're listening to this and you're not in Scouts and you want to go shoot BBs and swim, join Scouts.
Yeah.
That's my pitch to you.
Hashtag scout me in.
So you said that you were an Eagle, right?
I am an Eagle.
Okay. Yeah. What did you do for your project?
So my Eagle project falls in that kind of non-traditional category in that I actually worked with a local church to establish their first website, and I trained several members of their congregation to update it and to host and post recordings of sermons because they had a lot of older people who were in nursing homes and et cetera, who still wanted to be part of the congregation, just couldn't come out to the services. So my Eagle project was teaching members of that group how to be cool again.
That's actually kind of cool. Yeah. It's different, like you said.
Yeah.
Which is cool. How long ago was that?
Forever ago.
Okay. So
do you remember what year you got your Eagle?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. No one knows.
2013 is when I got my Eagle.
You have your Eagle card?
Oh, man.
Because I have my Eagle card right there.
Wow. It's even embossed.
With my and my NISA certification. Yeah.
We could say anything about it because it's audio only format, but
I mean, it is plastic.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, you can hear it.
Yeah. So that wasn't a question on the list, but I remember that.
Fine. So we asked what your favorite campsite is. What's your favorite program shelter?
Oh, hands down, Trading Post Shelter.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Why?
So that was when I worked at camp 3 summers before I actually got to do program. And Trading Post Shelter was my first shelter. So I got to teach cooking there, and it was close by the Trading Post where I'd worked previously. It's always in the shade.
Most of the shelters are always in the shade. That's why they have roofs.
Clearly never taught a handicraft shelter. It is miserable.
Oh, that's fair.
Much like archery and rifle.
Yeah. Well, archery is much better now. Yeah.
With the covered line, yeah. So I just always liked Trading Post Shelter. And the year I was there, I actually dug out around the frost free and filled that hole full of gravel so that it wouldn't turn into a mud pit because teaching cooking.
So that's where all the gravel came from.
Yeah.
Okay, but you agree that cabinet there is terrifying, right?
Oh, absolutely. I didn't use the cabinet.
Okay. I think everybody that's taught there has kind of agreed on that. Just kind of leave the cabinet be and it'll leave you be. So So you had said that you had worked for 3 years before you had worked program. So how long have you worked summer camp?
So my first summer on staff, full-time staff, was 2010. So it was dining hall, trading post, first year merit badge. So I think I worked 8 years, and then the 9th year would have been maybe it was 7 years full time, but then the 8th year I filled in for the program director for 2 weeks while she was at camp school. So
what do you think's been your most favorite position there?
At the time, it was called merit badge director. So what would be called now the scoutcraft director. I really enjoyed that teaching opportunity.
Yeah. You just liked, controlling people.
That's right.
Telling the staff what to do instead of
I mean, I had an army of 15 staffers.
Whoa.
We could move.
That's what makes him so scary. Hence why we picked him for the Halloween special.
That's crazy. You had 15 staffers?
Yep.
Wow. Was there other, have we added director positions?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like...
Yeah. Okay. So all of STEM, all of handicraft, all of scoutcraft, and even ecology reported to the scoutcraft director. So it was essentially like an assistant program director. Shooting sports, first year, and aquatics were the only things that didn't.
Oh, okay. So you had that makes a little bit more sense. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Because, that'd be crazy. But
it's a monster.
Yeah. What? I thought I just asked a question.
Did you not?
Your turn?
Oh, yeah, you did. Wait, what
this is your turn.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeves, plural.
Okay. You can't narrow it down to just one.
That's right.
It's probably us.
Yeah, of course. It's you two specifically. No. Disorganization and lack of timeliness. So if you say you're going to do something, do it on time and do it right.
Right. So as we sit here 30 minutes late for
our recording,
he hates us. So this was a user submitted question that I found pretty interesting. What do you want to do when you grow up?
So I don't think I'll ever actually grow up, but as I advance through my career, I don't know. I've thought about it a couple times. I never. I started out in higher education and then joined professional scouting. Didn't think either of those would be careers. I mean, like when I was in high school, I wanted to go be a personal chef. So the path has changed. I don't know. Hobo under a bridge.
So you wanted to be a personal chef. I've only had hot dogs or hamburgers. You never cook. Have you thought about it?
Like actually cooking? Yeah, maybe not for a scouting event.
Oh, what a shame. Because, I didn't know that Mike wanted to be or was a professional chef, whatever he did. And he cooks fairly decent. And so, maybe you could
stolen a couple of his recipes.
Well, you haven't ever cooked for us, so maybe you should.
Sorry.
That's a shame.
My job is to recruit others.
You're not supposed to recruit internally.
Right.
Well, Hobo under a bridge, is that where you see yourself in 10 years?
I think so. I think that's a good trajectory. As long as I stay on that line.
Seems like a reasonable goal.
What about, so hear me out, Iron Man suits?
Okay.
Yeah. So...
Oh, yeah, we were supposed to ask what was the worst idea you've ever heard, so that way we could set you up. So,
right. Yeah.
But yeah, so a couple of years ago, me and Zeph were in the lodge leadership, and you were our lodge advisor for OA. Yeah, Sequoia
Order
Lodge.
of the Arrow Sequoia Lodge.
Yes.
184.
Yeah. And so we had come up with this idea.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Great, best idea ever. And we had pitched it to Anthony, and that we invest in Ironman suits. Now, you got to hear us out on this one. So we were struggling with participation. And so our plan was we were going to shut down the lodge for 2 years. And we were going to buy Ironman suits. The first year was going to be us, trying to procure the money to get the Ironman suits. In the second year, we were going to go out and save a bunch of people, kind of like Iron Man in the movies. And then by the third year, when we restarted the lodge, people would want to come and see the Iron Man suits, and so that would solve our participation issue. And then it escalated. We ended up trying to get 2 suits, didn't approve one, and so we never got it. But we want to know your opinions on this.
I have a lot of opinions around the Iron Man suits. I will just go with I don't think that's a feasible option.
I think that if anybody out there is struggling with participation, it's a good option. you might want to start saving now. I hear they're on the rise because people more and more are doing this.
Supply and demand.
Yeah. I think if you buy one, you've got to buy two though, because we there was some logistics that we came into that you had to have two
matching sets.
Yeah. Well, it's redundancy, you know.
Of course.
One breaks, you don't want to. So, but yeah, I always thought it was a great idea, and you never did for some reason.
Yeah, no, sorry you couldn't convince me on that.
You always just shut it down. Like, you never really explained where exactly in the plan it went wrong.
You kept preaching this thing called money.
Yeah, right. The fact that you could never tell me how much one cost was the first problem.
Oh no, we had a plan. We were going to have some spaghetti dinners.
Like you do. We've got some wonderful foam containers for those.
Yeah, those were from our last spaghetti dinner. But it was only going to take like 2 or 3.
100.
Yeah. It was a good idea, I thought.
Yeah. So
we go ahead.
We move on to word of the day.
Oh segment. Yeah, this is your job. This is where you get to speak and tell us wisdom.
So for the word of the day, I actually have 2 words, but they go hand in hand.
Okay.
So the words are G and haul. And they are derived from cart pulling animals, in that G means to go right and haul means to go left. So back in the olden days, when people had carts and animals that pulled them, they would G and haul their animals to town, left and right down the road. You can also use G haul together, like, are things going right? Are things jiving? Is it connecting?
That's when they make a U-turn.
Is that where yeehaw comes from?
No, I think yeehaw's different.
Okay. I think it originated, I think that's how it happened. I think that just over the years, the translation has become yee instead of G. It's a whole thing.
I mean, who knows? I mean, I'm sure people know. I'm sure if you looked it up, it will tell you. But
yeah,
I don't know. And neither does Anthony.
Clearly not.
So give us...
you have to use them in a sentence.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
All right, so I'll use them together in that during the summer it is not uncommon for aquatics and shooting sports to not G-haul as they go about their activities. So when you use them together like that, it can mean, like I said, getting along, moving together,
okay.
like.
So Hayden, would you say that you get along with aquatics?
Do you G-haul?
Do you G-haul with aquatics?
I could say yes.
Okay.
I think it's an appropriate statement.
Okay.
So, remember, joke of the day.
Yeah.
This is what I'm excited about. I do have some backup jokes in case you're not funny.
I'm excited for this.
Okay.
So I've taken a page out of Hayden's book here.
Oh boy.
So
we know it's not going to be funny.
What are a ghost's favorite rides at the fair?
Oh man, I feel like I should know this one. I don't know.
The scary go round and roller coaster.
Oh my gosh, there's 2 and they're both just as bad. Hey, at least you kept it with the theme.
That's right. I like that one.
Boo. That was to scare you in case you needed to be scared.
I was terrified.
Okay.
So
I was confused.
So this past weekend, I think we need to talk about this. We need to go back to the haunted weekend, and this has nothing to do with Anthony, but it reminded me when you said "boo." There was some stamps that they gave out for the events that you had to stamp.
Yeah.
And so we turned them in at the end of the day and gave them to Judy or something.
So every Cub Scout got like a sheet of paper with all the different activities listed on it, and then each activity they're supposed to get a stamp on the paper to show that they did the activity, and then at the end they could get a prize.
Yeah. Good explanation.
All that.
And so we turned them in to Judy at the end of the day, or some of us did. And so Zeph had turned his in, which was a ghost that said "boo." Okay,
if it came out right, because the stamps were very faint.
Yeah, that's true. They weren't very good. And so Judy proceeds to take the cap off and stamp it on the paper, as you do. And she goes, "This is backwards." And we're all kind of like, "What?" And she goes,
"No, I thought that she was looking at the stamp and not what had come out on the paper, because on the stamp it looks backwards and then you put it on the paper and it's forwards."
Oh yeah, Zeph had to explain to her that. And she was like, "No, Zeph, it's backwards on the paper." And so he proceeds to get up and go look at the paper, where he realizes she has it upside down. And so anytime you want to scare Judy, just go up and scream "oob," and you'll terrify her. But yeah, that was my favorite story from the weekend.
No, yeah,
jumping all over the place.
That was a great moment. Yeah.
So, all right, next question. So I see we weren't going to ask this question, but I see it on your paper, and so I'm going to ask it so that way you don't feel left out. What is your favorite Marvel movie?
So my favorite Marvel movie is actually Black Panther, the 2018 original one.
Right.
I've not seen the 2022 one yet.
Well, it hasn't come out yet.
I know.
Okay.
Just in case you're wondering, though.
Okay. Neither have I. I hear it's going to be good. Probably not as good as the original, though, because movies never are when they remake them. So, it's not a remake yet.
Yeah.
It's a different storyline, but
it's true. But, I wanted to ask you that. I saw it big, on your paper, and I was like, we weren't going to ask that. Oh, well.
We asked it anyway because he wanted us to, apparently. Okay.
Just came prepared.
Yeah. What? I've got to slam down the paper every time so that you can hear it in the podcast because it's a very important part of podcasting.
It'll be very sharp.
What embarrasses you the most?
What embarrasses me the most? Public recognition.
Well, congratulations.
Congratulations on making it to the podcast. Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
I'm looking for a pen so I can mark out. I've lost in my place of where I...
This is a great question.
This one is very serious. We got to take this serious. Okay. Do you consider us to be friends?
Definitely collegial. Yes.
Okay. So define collegial.
Colleague-like.
Okay.
We're not strangers, but we're not going out to dinner either.
I was just about to ask you if you wanted to go out to dinner after this. Okay.
Thought we were going to go over and have a nice cooked meal.
You could be our personal chef.
We've had this discussion before, that you would pay somebody to come to your house and cook.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't be your friends either, would they?
Nope. Strictly business transaction.
Yeah, you would allow them to use your Wi-Fi and eat if there was leftover.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because the people of the house come first.
Of course.
As the olden days. It's terrible. And then a follow-up question to that, because you said we weren't friends. Do you have imaginary friends?
Currently, no.
Did they all leave?
At one point in life, I did.
In the future, will you?
Probably. Okay. Probably so.
When you're living as a hobo under a bridge.
That's right.
Yeah.
Things all just kind of fall in place.
Okay.
What's the next question? Okay.
Yeah, see? That's why I needed a pen.
What is your favorite camp story?
Okay. So my favorite camp memory, not story.
Well, you're telling it to us. That makes it a story.
Fine. The last 2-3 years I worked on camp staff. I've always been an early riser. So camp staff was still quiet and
Congratulations on being an early riser.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Public recognition. But watch out. That embarrasses.
Boom.
So I would get up and get ready for the day, and then I would go for a walk, and I would typically meet Freddie at his cabin. Freddie was the camp director before Dale, and we would sit on his front porch and have a cup of coffee the way Freddie liked it, which was with canned milk and Domino sugar, which is an acquired taste, not something you just start doing one day. And we'd sit in the rocking chairs and look out at the little deer playing in the field outside the cabin. And before we went to flags and everyone got to sing Three Blind Jellyfishes. So
yeah, we don't sing that anymore.
Which is heartbreaking.
It got banned.
JD just has some kind of inexplicable vendetta against it.
Yeah, we don't know why. He says because jellyfish don't have eyes, I think was his reason. They can't be blind.
Leave it to a biology teacher.
If they don't have eyes, then they are blind. That just makes sense.
They don't stand on rocks.
He's the one who's been pushing them off the rock all this time.
Yeah, probably. So anything else? Any other stories?
I mean, that's my favorite.
Okay.
I mean,
well, I was just trying to pull more favorites.
It's a nice memory.
Yeah,
very nice.
So you worked. You said 2010 was your first year, right? Okay.
Yeah, I was CIT in 2009, and then.
Okay, so you said, well, we'll just avoid the CIT. What was the thing that you were most scared of being a new staffer?
Not knowing anyone.
Okay.
So my unit, like I said, small town. No one from that unit that I knew or had ever known ever worked at camp. I was also the first one in the OA. So like my whole scouting experience has been new people, new conversations. So that was my, like, I'm not going to know anyone. I'm going to be down there for 6, 7, 8 weeks.
Yeah. Wow. It seems like it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, seems so.
You know some people.
Or at least 1 or 2. You 2.
Yeah. Well, we're just acquaintances.
No, collegiate.
We're collegiate.
Colleagues. So above acquaintance.
Okay. To follow that up, what is your most irrational fear?
And this is
this is the question from Trey.
From our previous guest, which happens to fit perfectly with the Halloween theme.
It does, absolutely. I mean, irrational fear? I don't know. That's a good question. I know for sure that I am afraid of heights.
Okay. I think
that's not necessarily irrational.
Yeah, I think that's almost rational.
Almost.
Yeah.
Just on the edge.
Well, some people, just don't care about heights, which is weird. I'm definitely scared of heights.
I mean, I think I think everyone just has a different threshold for when they become scared of heights. Like if you're falling from a high place, I think you're scared no matter what. Probably.
Yeah. Well, then that still makes it a rational fear, not an irrational fear.
Yeah.
Snakes, spiders.
I don't like them, but I wouldn't say I'm afraid of them. I'm definitely not going to pull a Zeph and herd them out of headquarters.
Oh yeah.
Come on, you gotta give us something, something scary. So
that way we can
even if you just make something up,
it's gotta be real. I was gonna pick it up at the store on my way to camp this weekend.
So if I say clowns, will you come dressed as a clown?
Well, that's normal. So
Hayden's dressed as a clown. Anthony as a banana. I'm the only one sitting here in normal civilian clothing. It's just,
it is a scout shirt.
I was going to say it's a jamboree shirt. So
yeah, no, I found myself. I didn't wear a scout shirt.
Oh wow, you wore it.
Yeah, I wore a Hayden shirt to make sure I knew who I was.
Okay.
So
semester going that badly.
Yeah. Wow, you're not scared of anything. Fearless.
I don't know that I would say fearless, but they're all.
Congratulations.
What is your most irrational fear?
Mine?
Yeah.
Gosh, I didn't think you were going to ask me this. I would have thought about it.
Put you on the spot. Yeah, see, it's a hard question.
It is a hard question.
See, I think to a point, like you said, most fears could be rational.
Right.
Because, like, a lot of things that are considered scary, a lot of people are scared of.
I mean, I guess there are things that could be, like, a rational concern that you can take to an irrational level. Like, I'm very paranoid about ticks when I'm out in grass, and I'm, like, checking my legs every, 5 seconds.
I was hoping for... There was a specific answer I was hoping for, which was tornadoes.
Man. When I was little, I was very scared of tornadoes.
Yeah.
I thought, every night, I had to check the weather forecast with my mom to make sure there wasn't going to be a tornado before I went to bed, or else I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, in the middle of Tennessee.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting story.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's where I was getting it from, this podcast story.
Oh yeah.
So
I did talk about that before.
Yeah, it is true. Where you ran from the
middle
field.
Of the field, yeah, because I went out to see the turkeys.
Yeah, this giant tornado.
I don't know what episode that was on, or I would reference it and say you could listen to that episode, but I don't know.
Okay. So we asked you the question from our last guest. So that means you get the opportunity to ask our next guest something.
So there have been a lot of really good questions that people have asked, through here.
That is true.
Irrational fear was definitely a good one. Since we're interviewing people who either are or have been on camp staff, I'd like to know if you could trade your current day job and go back to being a camp staffer full time, would you?
Interesting. I know I would.
I mean, I would say yes, except I don't currently have a day job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you just mean trade being a college student.
Current day activities and go be a full-time camp staffer. 600 kids in camp all the time.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, man. See, it's terrifying. I enjoy it, but the idea of doing it every week full-time is kind of terrifying.
Yeah, I feel like I would need a 1 week or 2 weeks on, 1 week off, kind of like a break.
Maybe.
So, because I think I could do it full-time, but it would not all the time, every day, I'd be a lot.
And most full-time camps don't run to the same level summer camp does either.
Right.
True.
Scale back activities, longer periods of time.
It's an interesting question, though. Yeah. So I don't know. I was gonna try to like draw out the irrational fear thing more to make it more, because if we gotta be like spooky Halloween themed.
I'm paranoid of ladders.
Ladders?
Ladders.
Are you scared of like walking under a ladder?
No, I care less about that.
on
Yeah,
one.
being like I
being all yeah.
I will get on a ladder, and I don't care if the biggest person there is sitting there like holding it, like I'm not gonna let you fall. I don't care.
No,
I always have this thought in the back of my mind: I'm gonna fall, and like, even a step ladder. Like,
yeah. Me too. I agree. Maybe that's the irrational fear of heights level, and that's the thing, because like I'm not that scared of heights. Like when I'm in an actual high place, I'm on like a sturdy thing that's supposed to be up high. But if I'm on like a short ladder, I'm scared. It's weird.
Yeah, I would say Annie, our camp dog, that's Cheryl and Belle's. Her irrational fear would probably be dinosaurs, inflatable dinosaurs.
I've heard.
Yeah, she's not a big fan at all. And it was funny because this past weekend.
Whoa. Are you saying that wasn't a real dinosaur?
Yeah, no, it was.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't want to ruin the hopes and dreams. But they multiplied this past weekend.
Yeah.
She was not a fan. And so.
Okay. You meant the ones at Haunted Weekend, not the one at Fall Fellowship, because that one was.
Yeah, that one was definitely real.
Okay.
Yeah. Didn't you know that dinosaurs sleeps in cabins? Specifically cabin 3, 4?
Cabin 4.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because the Foursaurus.
Cabin 4-saurus.
That's what we named it. It was very in the moment naming, but it worked out.
Do you have any rational fears? Like not irrational?
Yeah, Hayden, do you?
Oh, was that for me? Okay.
I was asking Anthony, but anybody.
Rational fear, like, of course, I'm scared of, like, spiders. I care less.
That's not a rational fear.
Everybody's scared of spiders to an extent. It's like you said, there's a certain level of scaredness.
Irrationality.
Yeah. I don't like being alone.
Okay.
I just get deep, but...
You don't like being alone, or you are afraid of forever being alone?
Oh, gosh.
Those are two different things. I
don't think we need to go that deep.
I don't like being by myself, like, in certain situations.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, there's always this thought, okay, no, I have a serious irrational fear. Whenever I go into a building, it could be lit up really bright, but there is always this thought in the back of my mind, even if I know that no one is in this building, there's always this thought that someone's going to jump out and scare me. No matter where I'm at. Ooh, that's an irrational fear that gets me every time. I don't like not go through the building, but it scares me because I'm like every quarter I'm like swinging my arms.
Yeah.
Waiting to karate chop that ghost.
Yeah. If it ever comes after me though, it's got a problem. So I think that's an irrational fear.
Okay. So what are your plans for Halloween, Anthony? Or what do you like to do for Halloween?
Well, this year I'll be celebrating Halloween with the kiddos at Haunted Weekend.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I
forgot that Halloween was that close to Haunted
That's
Weekend.
right. That's right. Yeah. Specifically, though, Halloween night, Monday, the community I live in is a bunch of older people, so we don't get many trick-or-treaters. This will be the second year I've been there, and we had like one.
You must fit right in.
So, yeah. In bed at 8 o'clock.
It's always funny. I always like to give Anthony a hard time because he's so old, but he's really not. It's just that I feel like I've known him forever, and so I feel like he's like really old. But it's kind of like JD. I feel like JD's old. I would say I feel like Mike's old, but he is actually old. There's a difference. But yeah, so I like to give Anthony a hard time if I haven't made that clear already.
Well, okay. Is there anything else to cover before the thought of the day and wrapping up?
I don't think so. Is there anything that you would like to promote from a council level? I know it's putting you on the spot.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Summer camp 2023 is already out there. We've got 2 weeks almost full at this point. So
yeah, I know. They were telling me about that. That's awesome.
Get signed up.
Yeah, and especially, seriously, if you want to get your campsite booked, now is the time to do it.
Yep.
Because those go fast.
And class registrations are already out, so you can see all the things. And
it's crazy to think that it's so far out that you have to get on that and sign up for it.
Yeah.
It's like, I wouldn't be thinking about it if someone wasn't telling me right now. So, I mean, I'm on staff. I don't worry about like signing up for campsite
They didn't
bookings,
tell you you're going to have to reserve your cabin this year?
What?
Or you get put in tent?
Right.
Oh, no.
I already reserved mine. Okay, so the thought of the day today, I wanted to do something that fit the intellect of the people around me. And so I had an epiphany the other day. And
that's never a good sign.
Yeah, I was going through a bank, and there was an ATM there. And on the side of the ATM, it specifically said, like it wasn't just abbreviated ATM. It said what it stood for. And so I was like, man, there's obviously other stuff out there that I don't know that's an acronym that we don't know is an acronym.
Sure.
So I'm going to question you guys on some acronyms that I've found and see if you know them, that I feel are common. Okay, so we'll start with ATM.
Automatic teller machine.
Yes.
Oh, okay. You got the first one right. that was easy.
Can I have like a side thought of this real quick? Okay, because when you said something about ATM and what it stood for, I thought you were going to bring up the phenomenon of RAS syndrome, which is redundant acronym syndrome, because people will say ATM machine, but machine is already included in the acronym ATM. And there's other things that people do, like PIN number, which stands for personal identification number.
Okay.
So this is a real problem in our society.
It wasn't on the list. Okay, so our next one.
Oh, was PIN on the list?
No.
Okay.
I was just making a joke. Our next one, which I thought was kind of interesting, is GPS.
Global positioning system.
Okay, well, maybe this wasn't as hard as I thought it was. But I didn't know that one. And I guess it's because I've never really thought about it. But yeah, when I looked these up and I realized, I knew that it was an acronym. I just didn't care what it was for.
So also if you said GPS system, that would be another redundant acronym.
Oh, man. Okay, our next one is Zip, Z-I-P.
Oh, like zip code?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this one.
Oh,
I don't know this one either.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, back in the day when it first came around, they needed a way to figure out where people lived. Obviously, that's what it's used for.
Yeah.
And so it's called the Zone Improvement Plan. And it was their plan to improve zones because they were just like drawn on the map. It was actually kind of cool.
Oh, cool.
So now the hardest one that I didn't realize was an acronym. I guess I should have thought it was an acronym, but I didn't realize it. Is WD-40.
Oh.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I didn't realize that this was an acronym. I don't know. But yeah, it is. So it's water displacement, the 40th formula.
What? Even the 40 is part of the acronym?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I thought it was the sequel to WD-39.
Well, that's what's interesting.
Essentially.
That's what's interesting. There's not like cans that go all the way back to WD-1, or at least as far as I know. My 2 minutes of research that I put into this didn't. And so with that, I wanted to ask you guys what you thought was the most used acronym in the world.
Oh, my.
Which this one's kind of hard.
It's probably something you don't even think of as being an acronym.
Yeah, it's something with slang more than or like shortened words
like
that you would text to a friend. Yeah, kind of. That's not it, but
YOLO.
kind of. But that's kind of the track that it's going down. So it's not like yeah, it would be used in text.
Is it like a
So it's not going to be NASA.
Next one.
No.
National Aeronautic and Space Administration. Yeah. Is it? It's not LOL.
It's not OL. Yeah,
it's not
AOL either.
Nope.
Is it OMG?
Nope.
Is it?
Well, OMG. Oh my gosh. Okay. We got to culture these people in case they don't.
What? I don't know.
I mean, I'm only coming up with the big ones like NAFTA.
Is that what you normally text people? No, you don't.
According to NAFTA.
It's not that one. It's 3 letters.
That makes it even harder.
It's something I don't normally use it, but because I normally try to spell out my words because
you're
a grown adult.
Yeah. And so, but if I was texting a friend that it wasn't as formal, then I would probably use this. So not you. Anyway.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Colleague Anthony.
You get one more guess.
What's the first letter?
L.
Okay, and it's not LOL?
No, which really surprised me. LOL stands for laugh out loud. I guess
Yeah.
It doesn't mean lots of love like the meme says. I don't know if you've ever seen that. There was this the lady and one of her relatives got sick, and so she was texting around like Aunt Judy, or gosh, maybe not use Aunt Judy. Aunt Diane. Aunt Diane is sick. LOL.
Oh my god!
But she thought it meant lots of love.
Oh my, that's terrible.
Yeah.
What? Okay, never
Poor
mind.
Aunt Diane.
So it's 3 letters and it starts with L, but it's not LOL.
Yes.
What else starts with L?
Lots of things.
Specifically lied.
Yeah. You get one more guess.
I couldn't possibly.
Nothing else? Okay.
See, like I can think of things, but they're not common acronyms. So.
Yeah. So it is LMK, or Let Me Know.
That's the most commonly used acronym.
According to the website that I looked up that said the most common ones, LOL was the second one.
Okay.
And so that it was used apparently. But yeah, LMK.
I guess I am old because I don't think I've ever used that.
Yeah, like, I don't know. That's not something that I really feel they need to abbreviate, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, it's more common for teenagers to talk in emojis than it is through actual words, which was also kind of like shocking.
It's depressing.
Yeah.
As an English major.
Sounds like
Very sad.
Sounds like we need a Camp Davy Crockett emoji.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I should. How hard is it to do that? Surely.
What, make an emoji?
Yeah, contact Apple. Tell them to get on that.
Now, when you got to the end of your list and you said the hardest one, I thought you were going to say scuba, because I know that's an
yeah, scuba, and so is like radar. And,
oh, yeah, radar is an acronym.
Yeah, and taser.
What?
Taser is one. I don't remember what they actually meant, but
I don't remember what any of these mean, but I know scuba
laser is also.
Oh, yeah,
laser. That's, I remember that one, but I forgot what it meant. But I remember learning what it meant and trying to remember, and now I don't know it. So
if you want to know what any of these mean, you just have to look them up on your own.
They're all cool acronyms.
So, but yeah, that was my thought of the day. Because I knew that ATM stood for something. I just didn't. Again, I didn't really care as long as it worked. That's what mattered to me. So that's my epiphany.
Okay.
I think that's the end.
Well, my favorite acronym is IAGDTBASACDF. It's a great day to be a scout at Camp Davy Fun.
Woo!